Hey, it's Pete Checkley for Sample Library Review, and today I'm checking out Cinematic Guitars Infinity by Sample Logic. After spending the last decade or so creating and perfecting many cinematic guitar libraries, Sample Logic have revamped and relaunched Cinematic Guitars Infinity for full contact. With new users in mind, Cinematic Guitars Infinity contains all of the content from Cinematic Guitars 1, 2 and 3 and places it all into the incredible 4-core engine of Cinematic Guitars Infinity. Drawing from a massive 26GB sample pool of immaculate guitar recordings, Cinematic Guitars Infinity has trillions of combinations of sound and is exceptionally customizable. If you are looking to add a big twang to your productions, Cinematic Guitars Infinity will certainly be for you. Cinematic Guitars Infinity downloads at 26GB across all 4 instruments. There are over 6,000 never before heard sound presets. There are dozens of fully customizable effects presets. It uses the Sample Logic 4-core engine, allows simultaneous playback of up to 4 sound cores, and is fully randomizable. It's designed to use the full paid version of Contact, version 5.8.1 or higher. Although it's a full version, it does not support NKS integration. Cinematic Guitars Infinity normally sells for $499, but is on intro offer at $99. The first thing you notice when you open the Cinematic Guitars Infinity folders is there is so much content. Now you get the 3 original instruments, so Cinematic Guitars 1 and 2 came first, then the third one, and finally Infinity takes all of the content of the first 3 and puts it into the awesome Sample Logic 4-core engine. Now there are 26GB of samples, and Cinematic Guitars is just that. It's about massive, cinematic, hybrid, in-your-face guitar sounds that have been totally warped into atmospheres, pulses, pads, and everything you need to create cinematic music. So the content is huge. Now if I open Cinematic Guitars 1, and I'll go just to atmospheres, you get ambience and stingers then. Whoops. Ambience, let's go for bizarre. Let's hear some bizarre ones. So we have Dying Cities, and this is the kind of thing it will sound like. So you can hear the guitar samples, but they've been processed into instant cinema. And when you load each snapshot, you just don't know what you're going to get. So let's go for some paranormal squeaks. So certainly it is bizarre. Let's go for Racing Against Time. And these are all out the box design sounds. So let's just do one more of these. Mystery and Suspense. I'll do a lot of mystery. Let's go Armada 1. Very cinematic. Big Trouble. And just do one more, but scrolling through you can see there are so many snapshots, and this is only the first volume. So let's take actually let's go for something with sequence. Torturing 2. That is just unsettling. Okay, so just going back, and I'm not going to play through all of the categories of all of these, but you get an idea, and you can see how really quick it is just to play through or load different samples. Sorry, not samples, snapshots, and just see what they sound like. Now I'll just go for one more stinger. Okay, that is short but sweet. And there we go. Okay, so as a different phrase mapped to each key. Very cool. Okay, and like I say, once again, just scrolling through stacks of snapshots. Now, if we go into the instrumentals, this is where you get your loops, pads, synths, arpeggiated guitars, and your standard guitars. So I'm just going to go for a Fat Strat. So as I said, it's not trying to reproduce with every different articulation playable guitar, it just uses the samples. Now, I'm a guitar player, I've played for 30 years, and obviously processing guitars like this is incredibly challenging. So straight away, the sound quality is absolutely brilliant. I do record most of my own guitars, but when you have a product like this, it makes you think twice, because it is so easy just to get a sound out the box that's incredibly cinematic. Here's a Les Paul. And we'll just go for, let's go for a bass. Awesome. And yeah, let's go for Rise on the Storm. Okay, so that's an example of what the playable guitars would be like. I'll just go for one loop. Sorry, I say loop, arpeggio. So some acoustic action there. Oh, why not cybercrimes? If you're into your crime writing. And once again, just to show the content, there is a lot going on. And we then have some loops, and again, more subfolders. I'm just going to go for, let's go for some metal, Black Sun 2. These sound ace. And Chasing Renegades. So they're sort of full-on guitar riffs played with some crazy distortion there. Flower Power. So those loops there, depending on the key you're in, they'll change, sorry, not key, the key you press, they'll change pitch. Some you might need to use some pitch shifting, depending on the key you're working in. Just some examples of pads. So opening wide sequence. So some great motion work, and let's just go for one more. Pulsating Faith. Lovely. And I do like some of the snapshots are sort of, use some guitar royalty tracks, as it were. So Seek and Destroy, I'm sure we know which band that's referencing. So just going to the synths, and then we have, let's go Burning Man right from the start. Okay, so as I've said, you just don't know what you're going to get when you load these up. Brilliant. And let's just go one more. Spinal Tap lead. Does it go to 11? That is the question. Okay, so yeah, there's so much going on. Now that covers the instrumentals. Then percussives is so cool. You get so much, and you just wouldn't expect it from a guitar library, but there's like a sort of boom. Big boomer. Bucket Man. There we go. That's quite a loud hit. Let's go Discharge. So you're getting cinematic effects, and that was straight from the impacts. Some arpeggios, Chasing Infinity. It's all tempo synced. Okay, so I was just saying that there's a higher key being played as the same tempo. Hacking the network. Some pretty extreme module effects there. If I just bring the instrument down. Awesome. So yeah, maximum force. Also made a few changes there. And again, it just shows off the versatility of the instrument. So we've done that. Let's go for some kits, mixed hits. Obviously various parts of the guitars being hit there. Some Schecter pick rates. That sounds like I will when we get back to live playing. Taylor guitar. So some percussive guitar noises. And the final part are we have loops as well. These are great. Here's Biochase. So all completely tempo synced, but depending where you play on the keyboard, it's almost like you get a different layer. Let's just go for another one, break and enter. Okay, so again, plenty of loops. Now, there's electronic and organic loops as well. I'll just play one organic loop. Now, personally, I wouldn't know these are derived just from guitar samples. And I know I keep saying only one more, but this is the thing about the library. You just want to keep trying different snapshots out and seeing what it can do. Fantastic. Let's go for some tabla terra. Okay, so that takes us through Cinematic Guitars 1. And then the second one, I didn't talk about the GUI. Really, really straightforward. You have your effects at the top, gain, attack, release, low cut, high cut, different cabinet options, have an arpeggiator, and you can edit that, and obviously various performance options. You can use adjust the volume, and you can adjust the pan as well, so it all flips really nicely. And for an instrument that's best part of a decade old, absolutely fantastic. Moving on then, so if we look at Cinematic Guitars 2, again, the same sort of ideas. You get ambience, stingers, let's just do some mixed emotions. And so you can see the GUI, there we go, it's a little bit different, very animated. So this is a completely different sample set, some strum aggressions. It's got some very groovy, shall we say, key switches at the top, which add different effects. And again, what I absolutely love about the instrument, you just find yourself playing with different aspects of it. So we're on temporal lobe 1. Throw an effect on. Completely different sound. Fantastic. And again, the GUI, really, really straightforward. You have all your different effects you can randomize on this one. And then you have, depending where you are, so you can have different triggers. Step arpeggiator. Just randomly playing around here. Yeah, so really, really straightforward GUI. And we're back to the Cinematic Guitars 2 start. And the categories and the snapshots, absolutely incredible. So let's go again. Mystery and suspense, do really like these. Ball wrecker, yes, I'd like to replace. So I'm not going to play through loads of examples, just so you can hear what it sounds like. Absolutely love the sound of the distortions they use. If we go into instrumentals, so again we have the same loops, guitars, pads, synths, arpeggiated. I'm just going to go electronic this time, channeling the aliens. That's very cool. You have the sort of wave and the sample So randomizing the effects. Very cool. Let's go Clouds of Paradise. And we'll do a sequence. Okay, so lots to go through, and we're only on the second volume. And we'll just go the percussives. So once again, we have everything sort of we need. I'm going to go back to the examples. This is distorted hits. Face skidder. Don't know what that is. There we go. The sound design is absolutely fantastic. And I can hear, you know, for obviously action cinema, for like tension. These are really cool. For crime music, sort of sound beds, anything cinematic, it just works really, really well. Dead Man's Cavern. And then we can add some random effects. And also you don't have to stick to the random effects, you can just start affecting everything yourself. But yeah, the sound design, I can think of so many different applications. Lovely. I'll just go for just wood. This is a different category, high stick. Rock solid. Fantastic. So that's the second volume, so it's more of the first really, and just different samples and obviously different GUI and different programming. So if we go into Cinematic Guitars 3, follows exactly the same format. If I was going to different atmospheres, so I'm behind enemy lines. And this is one of the world organic ones. That's just got crime written all over it. Crime for the Lust. Spooky Woods. And the Edge of Insanity. So some of these sounds will be quite out there, and some of them will obviously just be, you know, perfect for whatever you're making. So right there, I just felt very inspired with, like, you know, crime and tension, etc. So this is using the Cinematic 3 Guitars step animator, and these are very, very guitar-y. I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but they could fit over a sort of live play guitar, create really cool melodies. That is a little bit out there. And the arpeggiator, or the step animator, you can obviously change different note values and everything to do with the rhythm. You can MIDI drag and drop it out of your DAW. So again, lots of different options. Let's just do one more, Ghost Town. And let's just open some pads, Evil Twins. That's absolutely lush and ethereal. Some great mod wheel action there. Let's go Nova Dawn. Last one. Having looked at the first 3 volumes of Cinematic Guitars, the centerpiece of the library is the Cinematic Guitars Infinity. So we're going to spend most time now looking at this. So on the left, you can see there are 4 NKI files. It's split into atmospheres, instrumentals, loops, and percussives. And if you've used other sample logic libraries like Morphestra 2, you'll be used to this idea of 4 layers. So we have 4 quadrants, all the same controls within them, and an XY pad in the middle, and various different effects below. And you can get onto the step animator really quickly, and that's pretty much it. It's 2 pages. Really straightforward. Now, if you just want to go through the presets, you can open the preset browser just at the top and click on the different categories. So it opens in electronic, as I'm using electronic preset, and you have all of those snapshots. So you go to bizarre, and then dark and scary. So I'm just going to slide up just so we can see how many there are in each section. Euphoric and mixed emotions. So we get the idea. There are plenty. And there's stingers and world and organic. Now these are the same categories as the other volumes, but it's just all very neatly done in one instrument. So if we just open About to Explode. So we can move the XY pad. And the XY pad, that will determine how much of each sample is being played. So if we want to just go for this Phobias down the bottom left. Slightly pan over. Now it did just sort of hang when I went from left to right there. Let's try that again. And you can record the movement if you'd like to. So if I put the recorder on, move it around a bit, and press play. It'll move around what I've done. And you can obviously adjust the settings as well of the XY pad. So the XY pad's really useful, and does have some presets as well. So 4 quarters. Press play. And it'll move everything around. Now the quadrants are all the same. You can toggle where they're on or off. Sorry, just up there. And you can change the global volume. You can change the filters. There's the animator. And the left and right pan says the low frequency. Let's just close that, and they can change the velocity, frequency, and you can save whatever sort of changes you've made, and you can also, I believe, randomize. Oh yes, so randomizing at the top, and it works for all 4 quadrants. Now. Let's just have a quick look. If we go further down, you have the various different effects. So the idea is there is so much you can vary or change. We could turn off the XY pad, and it's incredibly customizable. I love the GUI, it's just so classy. Okay, so let's just turn off the mic and play through various different snapshots and just see what this sounds like. demos really show off the kind of style and what you can create with Cinematic Guitars Infinity. Now, they are very texturalized and there's lots of layers to them, but you can obviously just mute the layers if you want to, so they don't have to be that busy. A lot of them just have that amazing in-your-face, wow, these sound incredible, I could start a cue off with this, or I could put that there and it would really enhance the sound. Some of them, yeah, they do sound quite out there and it caters for whatever you want to do, but even the out there ones, you can just take off the layers or readjust the XY pad and maybe change samples if you want to, and just sort of use it as a starting point to mold in something you want. So the choice is absolutely incredible. So we're going to move on to the instrumentals, and it's exactly the same instrument, sort of design like the GUI, etc. If you click onto the preset browser, you can see the arpeggiated guitars, pads and synths. So if I go for Romeo and Juliet, so that's a lovely keys instrument. Let's go for some serious shred. That's a bit louder than I thought it would be. But this is the great thing about this. As I say, you don't know what you're going to get. Here's the ultimate. So they're very much keys-based guitar instruments, and it's going to turn. This is one thing I've noticed as I've been going through. I like using my scroll wheel quite a lot, and I'm trying to scroll up through the presets, and it doesn't. It just scrolls the instrument up and down. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just something to get used to. Spirit Carries On. No, that's the song. A little bit carried away there, and just playing basic chords. These sound great. Expression fits. So let's say you don't like that that sample. You can just double click on it and change it. That was a bit loud though, so let's just bring the volume down. And move the XY pad and you've got a completely different sound. It is quite incredible how much these change. And once again, with the GUI, I just love the fact, depending where the XY pad is, it sort of changes how deep the colour is of each side. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, so again, I'm going to turn off the microphone and just play through some of these instruments. Once again, there's a lot of variation in the playable instruments. So I've played a handful of snapshots there. There's some absolutely gorgeous sounds. There's some really in-your-face sounds. There is a lot going on. So I'm going to load up the loops next, and we'll just see how quickly this loads. Always a good test. And I'm running this off an SSD, but I've not done any battery saving, and it's really, really quick. So everything again is there. And we have all the different loops. So we have action-packed, electronic, the hat light, melodics, pop hop, and world organic. So there's a few different categories now. And Sample Logic has said there are over 600 new snapshots that haven't been heard before. So let's just play the first one on the action-packed. That's great. I'm playing a lower D. There we go, that one. And then you play more of a central D. And these loops have that melodic feel to them as well. So going from a D to an F, you can hear the difference. And it is playing different layers depending which octave you're using, so that's really cool. So let's open another one. A little bit different, that one. Does it sound good? Never Make Nice. I think these just come from guitar samples. Is, you know, it's incredible what the sound design team have done with this. So let's go to electronic, computer virus. And again, we have the key switches at the top. I'm actually debating whether they do anything there. I think that's just the playable range for these loops. Yeah, you can see them down the bottom as well. But that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Let's move on. Let's go to the hat lights. So down the mine shaft. And the mod wheel sort of affects the volume, really. So it depends which loop you're playing, I guess, or which layers. Melodics. So let's go Can't Catch Me. So that's just simply playing with the octaves, just to add different layers. Let's just go a bit further down. Got Nothing on Me. And you can obviously turn off various different effects, so there's quite a heavy delay there. Now, if we just turn it off, I'll turn the reverb off as well and just see what that sounds like. So there is still some delay baked in. And that might be down to the step animator area. Actually, no, it won't be because it's not on. There we go. And this is the thing about the instrument. Now, I'm going through the GUI and trying to work out all the different functions. There's so much going on, and it is just really, really fun to play around with it. There is an extensive manual, and there's lots of videos online about how to use the instrument, but there's nothing better than just jumping in and just sort of playing around with it. So let's just go to the pop hop, high strung. Very cool. Powerball. So I'm doing the scroll wheel thing again. Can't help it, but I'll get used to it. These are some very cool hybrid rhythms and loops. World Organic. Find it's what I want to take out. Maybe this one. It's the first one. Yeah, so for building hybrid rhythms, this is absolutely brilliant. So let's just move on to the percussives. So I'm just going to load that up. It doesn't take too long to load, and it is becoming a bit of an exploration now. And as I say, that's just what makes this instrument awesome. So the percussives, I'm actually going to bring the instrument down slightly. So I've got a feeling these are going to be quite loud. And again, we have arpeggiated impacts, deep electronic industrial, and the world, and then transitions. So there's a few more sound design options. So beheaded, we're on deep impacts. Let's go for crunch rollout. I do absolutely love their distortion. I know I keep saying it, but especially I'm working on headphones at the moment, and it just sounds so clean. And I can imagine that sitting in a mix really, really well. That's quite a hit. Good job I turned this instrument down slightly. Does it still say where it was? Yeah. I mean, just for the sound design content, it's worth the money straight away. And for $99 at the moment, there's just, as I say, so much content. This sounds phenomenal. And across one patch, there's so much variety as well. Let's go for some arpeggiated. Shred the humans, why not? Just seeing if the key switches worked, but it is clearly the playable range. Yep, sounds cool. These sound effects are great because they are melodic, these arpeggios. So if I play, just hold down a chord, it's still drawn to D minor for some reason. And you get the arpeggiated sound. So let's just have a look, a few more. It's quite a cool warping sound. Let's go for one more cymbal pressure, why not? Again, quite in your face, very, very powerful, but very, very clean. And that's what you can hear about the sound design. It's all very clean throughout the instrument. So some electronic impacts. They just sound great. And obviously we're going to, you know, you might want to take off your reverb. And they are clean. Let's take the distortion off. So the customization is fantastic on Chef. So one thing that would be nice in the browser is if I want clean hits or I want distorted hits, it'd be quite nice to have those categorized. However, there is so much going on. It is just, let's say, really fun playing through. Some great sounds. It'd be really brilliant if you could just favorite some of these presets. Okay, let's look at industrial. There's so much going on there. So that is an overview of the atmospheres, instrumentals, loops and percussives. So as I said at the start, it's not trying to replicate all the nuances of a live guitar player, but it is this massive cinematic hybrid instrument. Now you could just create a whole cues just using Cinematic Guitars Infinity. You've got the atmospheres, got all the pulses, playable instruments, some melodic instruments, and then the percussives. The sound design is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so for $99, especially while it's on offer, it is just such a bargain. There is so much going on, and it's all cleanly designed, but very, very powerful. Yeah, sure, there's going to be some things you probably won't use, some sounds that might be way too out there, but you've got so many imaginative and inspiring sounds just playing through the presets. But then, of course, if you want to start customizing those, it's really easy to do in the engine, as all four instruments share the same quad engine. The quad engine is really, really straightforward to use. So the more you get used to it, the easier it gets. It is that simple, but I've not talked about the step animator too much. So I'll just put on a nice clean guitar. If I turn on the step animator, obviously that's not what you're going to want. So it is like a step grid. So if you change the velocity, as I go through, you'll hear the difference. So you can create some really, really cool pulses. So I'm just going to do that. And also you can change how many steps you use. So we're set to 16 at the moment. but you can alter that. And then if you want to, also playing the notes, so you can change exactly what it does. So let's say we've got stutter going on. And you want some gliding. So there, and then. So already I'm just messing around with 2 areas of it, and it's a really, really powerful arpeggiator. You can change the rhythm denomination. I'm putting dotted 8th notes in there. It's going to sound very, very even. And you can switch between different patterns as well. It's nice and easy. And you can change your arpeggiator, so direction. What else? We can transpose. So you can change the note. Again, this is not going to sound lovely. Bit all over the place, and then you have duration, stutter rate, pan, and everything can be linked. Very useful. So you can get some really cool stereo spread going on. I'm sort of playing around with the core link. Change speed. Where are we? So if I'm at half time. And change the swing, and obviously the play mode, so latch freeze random. Yeah. Oh, you can reverse as well. And I've added some swing to it. Taking the stutter off. Yeah, so you could just spend ages playing around with the really, really powerful step animator. Now, obviously, I've made something that no one would ever use. Oh, you can also randomize it for quickly randomize. But it still doesn't fix all the problems I've just done. So you have all of these step presets. So if I just quickly reload, just go back to the main instrument and quickly reload the instrument. Go back to step. So there we are. Turn that on and then just try different. So these are the chordal step animation presets. And they can do some glitch presets, which are a bit more experimental. Then some melodic, so some dreamscapes. So on the non-chordal ones, I had that amazing moment where I was just clicking on the preset and not double clicking, and it wasn't changing. So yeah, it's a very, very powerful arpeggiator. I'm just investigating what the MIDI drag and drop does. So you should be able to pick it up and drop it into your DAW. So I'll do with my door open, and I've just dropped that MIDI pattern over it. Yep, so you can just drop that inside your DAW and then it will play back, which is very, very useful. So if you want to just sort of build these patterns and then put them into different instruments, of course you can. So the step animator is absolutely brilliant, an incredibly powerful tool, and complements all the guitars really, really nicely. That brings me to the end of this deep look into Cinematic Guitars Infinity. It is such an expansive instrument, and you can spend hours and hours and hours just creating different sounds, learning new things about it, and playing it through the GUI and just getting all the different functions. Now, I've not shown absolutely everything off because it would take forever to. As I say, there are literally trillions of different combinations of sounds, effects, different layer options. It just goes on and on and on. For me, for my workflow, I started doing some pretty cool things. I use different controllers, and I managed to map the XY controller to a pad, and that's really, really fun to use. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's almost like a toy just playing with this instrument. It's just, you know, set your face to grin mode and off you go and play. Sounds great, and you really get the sort of feel of the guitars, and as they're not trying to replicate a human guitar player, it just goes to town on creating these cinematic hybrid effects. Now, who's it for? Well, it's for anyone who just composes you know, sort of music for media. If you're doing crime music, if you're doing tension underscore, if you're doing trailerized music, you know, sports, hybrid, the list can go on and on and on. But if you need really clean sound design and, you know, fantastic melodic instruments, lots of synth work, there is so much here to keep you going. I feel very confident that you could create an entire score using just Cinematic Guitars Infinity. Obviously, there's certain things it won't have, like, you know, traditional risers. There are some risers in like the stingers or the transitions, but you know, you might want to get your sound design for those specific things from elsewhere. But in terms of impacts, pulses, these sort of transition effects, it does that incredibly well. So anyone who just likes composing, whether it's you're a hobbyist or you do it full time, this is a great tool to have in your arsenal. There is that saying about having too much choice, and one thing you do get in Cinematic Guitars Infinity is a lot of choice. So I would love to see that favourite button. I do use Guitar Fury, which came out a couple of years ago. It's one of Sample Logic's most recent guitar libraries. Any excuse not to actually pick up my own guitar and record, obviously. It's a great library, and I love the fact there is that go-to favourite button, and you can just really, really quick out the guitar sounds you want to use. So that'd be awesome to see. And then the categorization, it is there. It'd be great to see a little bit deeper. So especially with the sound design, if we could have distorted, over-affected, you know, that'd be really, really useful. Even like, you know, long tail, some of them have like huge reverbs. If the categorization could go a little bit deeper, that'd be amazing. However, I appreciate the fact there are thousands of snapshots going on through this instrument. That would take a lot of time, and really you can just use your ears. So it's not a deal breaker. But yeah, the favourite button, I mean, if I'm nitpicking and saying I want a favourite button in an instrument, you know the instrument is doing something right. So yeah, absolutely love it. I think it's so versatile. I'm going to be using this on so many tracks I've got going on. A lot of the action-based snapshots will be used, and for atmospheres as well. I mean, this can go from a really, really heavy album to a more meditation or ambient album. So it's just so diverse. For $99, it is an absolute bargain. Thanks once again for checking out this deep dive into Cinematic Guitars Infinity. I hope you really enjoyed what you saw and what you heard. If you do, feel free to leave us a comment, leave us a like, let us know what you like about the instrument and how you'd use it. Please subscribe to our channel and check out all of our other videos from our amazing contributors and reviewers, and pop over to sampleLibraryReview.com to check out everything that is going on in the world of virtual instruments right now. Have an absolutely brilliant day, a fantastic week, and take care.